20 Male stars of Hollywood's golden age who were once male prostitutes. In the years from 1920 to 1960, Hollywood was a gigantic machine, where dreams were manufactured, but also where despair pushed people into the harshest choices. Many young, handsome, talented guys, coming from small towns, had nothing but their attractive appearance and burning ambition. They had to sell their bodies to survive, to have a chance to step into the big studios. These stories are based on memoirs, testimonies from witnesses like Scotty Bowers, known as the sex broker of Hollywood, and reliable historical documents, not just baseless rumors. We will explore each one with deep respect, but also with harsh truth, to see that behind the glamour is real human pain. Let's begin this journey together, and remember, this is history, not judgment, not... First, let's set the context a bit so you can visualize it better. The golden age of Hollywood, from silent black and white films to vibrant color productions, was when the American entertainment industry dominated the world. But behind it was a conservative society, where homosexuality was considered a sin, and male prostitution was part of the Lavender Scare, the widespread fear of homosexuality. In the 1950s, studios like MGM, Warner Brothers, and Paramount tightly controlled the stars' images, forcing them to live double lives, one on the silver screen as perfect heterosexuals, and one in the shadows to satisfy personal needs or earn a living. Scotty Bowers, a former Marine, recounted in his 2012 book, Full Service, that he arranged thousands of sexual encounters for stars, many of whom started their careers by engaging in male prostitution to get roles or money. These stories, though shocking, help us understand their sacrifices better. Now, let's dive deep into each character, and I'll tell you details about each one, from their background, personal life, film career, to their death and legacy. First, let's talk about James Dean, the guy with the iconic red jacket in Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, who became a symbol of American youth rebellion. Born on February 8, 1931, in Marion, Indiana, James grew up in a simple rural family, with his father Winton Dean as a dentist and mother Mildred Wilson, who encouraged him to pursue art from a young age. However, his mother died of cancer when he was only 9, and he was sent to live with relatives in Fairmount, Indiana, where he studied drama in high school and participated in local plays. He arrived in Hollywood in 1951, just 20 years old, knowing no one, pockets empty, and full of desire to become a star after studying acting in New York with Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio. According to accounts from Scotty Bowers in Full Service, and Hollywood chronicles like the biography James Dean, The Mutant King by David Dalton, James attended private parties at the Chateau Marmont Hotel, where young handsome guys were numbered like high-end merchandise. Bowers said James was number 6 on his list, serving cocktails and longer services to wealthy producers, including powerful figures like director Nicholas Ray, who later gave him the lead role in Rebel Without a Cause. To get his first role on CBS in TV series like Hill No. 1 in 1952, James had to spend nights with powerful investors, who promised opportunities but demanded physical exchanges. And there were even secret films shot of him in private encounters at Beverly Hills villas, used to control his later career. James Dean was not only a talented actor with deep method acting, inspired by Marlon Brando, but also a victim of Hollywood's cruel system, where his attractive appearance with messy hair, deep eyes, became a tool for survival. He starred in 3 major films, East of Eden in 1955, where he portrayed the inner pain of Cal Trask, a boy rejected by his father, based on John Steinbeck's novel, and received his first Oscar nomination for Best Actor, filmed in Salinas, California, with vast field scenes symbolizing family conflict. Rebel Without a Cause, the film that shaped American youth culture, where he starred with Natalie Wood and Sal Mineo, exploring themes of loneliness, rebellion, and social pressure with the dangerous cliff-driving scene becoming iconic, and Giant in 1956, where he acted with Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson, a film about Texas oil and generational social conflicts, earning his second Oscar nomination, filmed in Marfa, Texas, with wide desert scenes emphasizing ambition. But behind the cool, rebellious facade, James lived in fear of exposure, with rumors about homosexual relationships with friends like William Bast, who wrote his biography, and Rogers Brackett, an advertising director who financially supported him but also controlled him, even paying rent in New York. He also had a close friendship with Elizabeth Taylor, who called him her soulmate, and they often shared personal pains on the set of Giant. His tragic death on September 30th, 1955, in a car accident in Cholame, California, at just 24 years old, still holds mysteries. He was driving his Porsche 550 Spider at high speed, colliding with another car, dying on the spot, while his companion Rolf Vutherick was seriously injured. Could the pressure from secrets of male prostitution and homosexual relationships, combined with an obsession with speed as a way to escape reality, have pushed him to the end? James's story makes us reflect deeply. Great talent, but the price paid was isolation and self-doubt. Pause for a moment so you can imagine a young guy full of hope, but swallowed by Hollywood like that. He was buried in Fairmount, Indiana, and his legacy lives on through his films, becoming a cultural icon, influencing later generations like James Franco, who played him in the biopic James Dean in 2001, and museums in Fairmount honoring his life, attracting thousands of fans each year. Next is Marlon Brando, the king of method acting, with legendary roles in A Streetcar Named Desire in 1951 and The Godfather in 1972. Born on April 3, 1924 in Omaha, Nebraska, Marlon grew up in a dysfunctional family with his father, Marlon Brando Sr., as an alcoholic salesman who often beat him, and mother Dorothy Julia as a stage actress who introduced him to the art world but was also an alcoholic, leading to divorce when he was young. He had two sisters, Jocelyn and Frances, and grew up in poverty, frequently moving between Illinois and California. He went to New York in the 1940s, hungry and ready to do anything to pursue his acting passion, after being expelled from Shattuck Military Academy in Minnesota for rebellion and smoking. According to leaked diaries and a 2001 Vanity Fair article based on his biography Brando, Songs My Mother Taught Me, Marlon slept with anyone in power, directors, producers, even reporters, to advance his career, including encounters at private apartments in Greenwich Village. Bowers recounted that Brando was a regular client, receiving $300 a week from director George Cukor for late-night private rehearsals at Cukor's villa in Hollywood Hills, where he learned acting but was also exploited. The list of 14 men in his diary, including Jack Warner, the boss of Warner Brothers Studio, saved him from a 1953 sex scandal when he was accused of sexual harassment but covered up by the studio. Brando frankly admitted in a 1975 Playboy interview, "I slept with whoever could give me a role, man or woman. It didn't matter, as long as they had power," reflecting his openness about bisexuality. He was a master actor, studying under Stella Adler at the Actors Studio, and brought to Hollywood a natural, emotional style, like in On the Waterfront in 1954, where he won his first Best Actor Oscar for Terry Malloy, a dock worker struggling with conscience and corruption, with the I Could Have Been a Contender scene becoming classic. The Wild One in 1953, the rebellious biker icon Johnny Strabler, influencing rock and roll culture. Apocalypse Now in 1979, the legendary Colonel Kurtz in the Vietnamese jungle. Francis Ford Coppola's dramatic production, Last Tango in Paris in 1972, the controversial Paul with sex scenes, and Superman in 1978 as Jor-El, Superman's father. But Brando's personal life was a series of tragedies. 3 failed marriages with Anna Kashfi from 1957 to 1959, Movita Castaneda from 1960 to 1962, and Tarita Terriepaya from 1962-1972, leading to 11 children, including son Christian, sentenced to prison in 1990 for killing his sister Cheyenne's boyfriend, and Cheyenne's suicide in 1995 due to depression. He had homosexual relationships with Wally Cox, his childhood friend, and rumors with James Dean, Christian Marquand, even Burt Lancaster. He died on July 1, 2004 in Los Angeles from respiratory failure at age 80, leaving a great legacy but also a lesson on Hollywood's unforgiving nature. You see, Brando didn't regret his past, but his story shows how the system exploits people, turning them into tools for success. He was also a social activist, supporting the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King Jr., refusing the Oscar in 1973 to protest Hollywood's treatment of Native Americans, sending Sachin Littlefeather on stage instead, and participating in animal rights protests. Now, let's talk about Sal Mineo, the guy who played James Dean's best friend in Rebel Without a Cause, a teen idol with a radiant smile and expressive eyes. Born on January 10, 1939 in the Bronx, New York, in an Italian immigrant family. Sal grew up in poverty, with his father Salvatore Mineo Sr. as a coffin maker from Sicily, and mother Josephine Alvisi as a homemaker, raising 4 siblings in a cramped apartment. He started his stage career at age 10 in Tennessee Williams' The Rose Tattoo in 1951 and The King and I with Yul Brynner from 1951-1954, where he learned singing and dancing. Sal arrived in Hollywood at 16 in 1955 with dreams of stardom after being discovered by a talent agent. According to accounts from friends like Perry Lopez and historical documents from Bowers in Full Service, Sal was invited to a producer's home like Don Weiss for personal auditions at villas on Sunset Strip and stayed overnight to get the role in Rebel Without a Cause, where he played Plato, a lonely teen with implied homosexuality. After James Dean's death, Sal fell into despair, turning to selling his body to survive, with private deals in Palm Springs for supporting roles in B-movies like Crime in the Streets in 1956, where he played a juvenile delinquent. In 1976, Sal was stabbed to death outside his apartment in West Hollywood on February 12th, believed to be a robbery by Lionel Ray Williams, but his wallet and watch were intact, while a suitcase containing evidence of Hollywood's secrets disappeared, leading to conspiracy theories. A week before his death, Sal told friends like Michael Anderson Jr. that he had names, photos, and tapes about male prostitution scandals involving studio bosses. Was his death a warning from the powerful? Sal Mineo was not only a talented actor, he was also Hollywood's first gay icon, though he had to hide it during McCarthyism. His role as Plato in Rebel earned a Best Supporting Actor Oscar nomination in 1956, followed by films like Giant in 1956 with Dean and Taylor, where he played Angelo, a Mexican hired hand, Exodus in 1960 with Paul Newman, earning his second Oscar nomination for Dov Landau, a Jewish fighter in Israel's Independence War, Otto Preminger's film based on Leon Uris's novel The Longest Day in 1962 about D-Day, with stars like John Wayne, Who Killed Teddy Bear in 1965, a dark noir where he played Lawrence Sherman, a phone operator with psychological issues, and Escape from the Planet of the Apes in 1971 as Milo. But his life was full of tragedy. Blacklisted from roles due to gay rumors from Confidential magazine, heroin addiction in the 1960s, and sudden death at 37. He lived more openly about his sexuality in his later years, playing a gay prisoner in the play Fortune and Men's Eyes in 1971 in Los Angeles, and had a relationship with Courtney Burr, a stage producer. Sal's story evokes fear, mystery, and tragedy of those who dared to speak against the system. He was buried at Gate of Heaven Cemetery in New York, and his legacy continues to inspire LGBTQ+ actors, with the 2011 documentary Sal by James Franco exploring his life. and awards named after him at gay film festivals. Rock Hudson, the icon of masculinity with roles in Giant in 1956 and Pillow Talk in 1959 with Doris Day, born on November 17, 1925 in Winnetka, Illinois. Rock, real name Roy Harold Scherer Jr., was the only son of Roy Harold Scherer Sr., an auto mechanic, and Catherine Wood, a homemaker. But his parents divorced when he was 8, and his mother remarried Wallace Fitzgerald, whose last name he took. He grew up in poverty, doing odd jobs like delivering newspapers and mowing lawns, and served in the U.S. Navy during World War II in the Philippines from 1943 to 1946. He arrived in Los Angeles in 1946 as a poor truck driver with acting dreams. Manager Henry Wilson, famous for potential boys like Tab Hunter, put Rock on the premium gift list at private parties of moguls like David O. Selznick. According to leaked studio memos from Universal Pictures in 1989 and Bowers' book Full Service, Rock was obedient, discreet, serving multiple clients a night without traces at Malibu villas, helping the studio earn millions from traded investments, and Wilson renamed him Rock Hudson to sound more masculine. And Rock Hudson was a leading romantic star with over 70 films, including Magnificent Obsession in 1954, a big melodrama hit with Jane Wyman, where he played Douglas Sirk, a doctor seeking redemption. All That Heaven Allows in 1955, social class critique with Jane Wyman, as Ron Kirby, a gardener loving an older woman, written on the Wind in 1956, oil family drama with Lauren Bacall and Dorothy Malone, the romantic comedy series with Doris Day, like Pillow Talk in 1959, Oscar-nominated screenplay, as Brad Allen, a fake composer, Lover Come Back in 1961, as Jerry Webster, an advertiser, Send Me No Flowers in 1964 as George Kimball, a hypochondriac man, and Seconds in 1966, a horror about body change. But he had to hide his homosexuality with a sham marriage to Secretary Phyllis Gates from 1955 to 1958, arranged by the studio to avoid rumors from Confidential and relationships with men like Mark Christian, who sued him in 1985 for hiding AIDS, and Lee Garlington, a secret lover in the 1960s. Rock died on October 2, 1985, in Beverly Hills from AIDS complications, at age 59 after publicly announcing his illness in 1985 in France while seeking treatment, leaving a note, "I was never allowed to say no." His AIDS diagnosis raised global awareness of the disease, and he was the first celebrity to come out about it, with friends like Elizabeth Taylor founding the American Foundation for AIDS Research. His story is evidence of Hollywood's cruel control, where the heterosexual image was fake, covering real pain. Pause for you to think, a tall, handsome man like Rock, but living in fear his whole life. He was buried at Forest Lawn Cemetery in California, and his legacy includes promoting AIDS research through a fund named after him, with the biopic Rock Hudson in 1990, starring Thomas Ian Griffith, and the book Rock Hudson, His Story in 1986 by Sarah Davidson. Ramon Novaro, silent film icon, the Latin lover in Ben-Hur in 1925, born on February 6, 1899 in Durango, Mexico, with real name José Ramón Gil Samaniego. Ramon was the second child in a family of 13 with father Enrique Samaniego as a wealthy dentist. But the family fled the Mexican Revolution in 1916, arriving in Los Angeles in poverty. He started as a waiter and dancer in clubs before entering films. The biography Beyond Paradise, The Life of Ramon Novaro by Andre Suarez, and rumors from Bowers show he provided private services to elites like actress Alla Nazimova to survive and get roles at MGM. This double life led to his tragic death in 1968, killed by two hustlers, Paul and Tom Ferguson, in a robbery and torture at his Laurel Canyon home in Hollywood, where he was beaten with a bust of himself. Ramon was a major MGM star, rival to Rudolph Valentino, with films like The Prisoner of Zenda in 1922 as Rupert of Hentzau, Scaramouche in 1923 as André Louis Moreau, The Student Prince in Old Heidelberg in 1927 as Prince Karl Heinrich, The Pagan in 1929, his first talkie, Mata Hari in 1931 with Greta Garbo as Lieutenant Alexis Rozanoff, and The Cat and the Fiddle in 1934 as Victor Florescu. He transitioned to talkies successfully, but his career declined due to his heavy Mexican accent and hidden homosexuality, leading to alcoholism. He was a devout Catholic, building a chapel at home, but his hidden homosexuality caused internal conflict, with rumors of relationships with journalist Ramon Romero and actor Gilbert Roland. His death at age 69 was a major scandal, with his body tortured and property stolen. The case tried in Los Angeles. Ferguson sentenced to life but paroled after 7 years. Ramon's story is a reminder of the risks of a secret life, where glamour hides dangerous shadows. He was buried at Calvary Cemetery in Los Angeles, and his legacy is as the first Latin icon in Hollywood, paving the way for Mexican actors like Anthony Quinn, with the 2001 documentary The Bronze Screen honoring him, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. George Nader, Rock Hudson's close friend, a leading 1950s star with films like Away All Boats in 1956, born on October 19, 1921 in Pasadena, California. George was the son of George Nader Sr., a Lebanese businessman, and Alice Scott, a homemaker, growing up in a middle-class family, studying at Occidental College and serving in the U.S. Navy during World War II in the Pacific. He attended parties where looks were traded for opportunities after signing with Universal in 1950. According to Hollywood historians and Bowers in Full Service, his career exploded after introductions at notorious spots like Henry Wilson's house. George lived quietly with his partner Mark Miller for over 55 years. From 1947, after leaving Hollywood due to gay rumors from Confidential in 1955, moving to Hawaii and writing books. He was an action actor, but male prostitution rumors made him leave Hollywood early, turning to writing science fiction like the Chrome series in 1978 about gay robots, and The Perils of Paul in 1982. Notable films include Robot Monster in 1953, a low-budget classic with a gorilla suit, Sins of Jezebel in 1953 as Jehu, The Human Duplicators in 1965, Sci-Fi, and the TV series The Man and the Challenge in 1959 as Dr. Glenn Barton. He suffered a skiing accident in 1973 that damaged his eyes, ending acting, and later lung disease. He died on February 4, 2002 in Woodland Hills, California, from lung cancer at age 80. His legacy is in sci-fi films, but his life full of sacrifices for love and privacy, with Miller inheriting and writing the biography George Nader, a Hollywood memoir, in 2002. Montgomery Clift, with A Place in the Sun in 1951, famous for deep emotional intensity. Born on October 17, 1920 in Omaha, Nebraska, Monty was the twin son with sister Roberta of Edward Clift, a bank vice president, and Ethel Fogg, a homemaker from an aristocratic family, growing up in luxury, traveling Europe from childhood. He started on Broadway at 13 and Fly Away Home in 1934. He struggled in New York and Los Angeles in 1946, where beauty was currency for male prostitution. Rumors from Bowers about late visits and deals to live in Greenwich Village apartments. Monty was close friends with Elizabeth Taylor, co-starring in Raintree County in 1957, but a 1956 car accident in Beverly Hills after a party at Taylor's home led to drug and alcohol addiction, changing his appearance with a scarred left face, called the longest suicide in Hollywood. Notable films: The Search in 1948, first Oscar nomination as Ralph Stevenson, searching for Jewish children after World War II. The Heiress in 1949, with Olivia de Havilland, From Here to Eternity in 1953 as Robert E. Lee Pruitt, A Rebellious Soldier, Oscar nomination. Judgment at Nuremberg in 1961 as Rudolph Peterson, final Oscar nomination. He had homosexual relationships with Libby Holman, an older singer, and Jerome Robbins, a choreographer, but hid them out of fear with failed therapy. He died on July 23, 1966 in New York from cardiovascular issues, at age 45 after refusing a role in Reflections in a Golden Eye. His legacy is as a pioneering method actor, influencing Brando and Dean, with the 2018 documentary Making Montgomery Clift by his nephew Robert Clift. Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates in Hitchcock's Psycho in 1960. Born on April 4, 1932 in New York, Anthony was the son of Osgood Perkins, a Broadway actor, and Janet Esselstyn, a violent homemaker. Growing up in abuse, father dying early in 1937, he studied at Rollins College and Columbia University. Starting with Harvey in 1950, he struggled in the 1950s, participating in male prostitution circles where private parties provided money at New York clubs. He died on September 12, 1992, in Hollywood from AIDS, at age 60. The Norman role earned an Oscar nomination, but his life was full of anxiety about homosexuality. With failed conversion therapy under Dr. Mildred Newman, he married Barry Berenson in 1973, having two sons, Oz and Elvis, but had relationships with men like Tab Hunter, Grover Dale. Other films: Friendly Persuasion in 1956, Oscar nomination as Josh Birdwell. Fear Strikes Out in 1957 as Jimmy Pearsall. The Matchmaker in 1958, Tall Story in 1960 with Jane Fonda. Phaedra in 1962 with Melina Mercouri. The Trial in 1962 by Orson Welles, and Murder on the Orient Express in 1974. He directed Psycho 3 in 1986 and Lucky Stiff in 1988. His legacy is as a horror icon, but also a victim of prejudice, with wife Barry dying in 9/11 in 2001. Tab Hunter, teen idol with Damn Yankees in 1958. Born on July 11, 1931 in New York as Arthur Kelm. Tab was the son of Charles Kelm, a violent German father, and Gertrude Gellion, a German mother, growing up after divorce, moving to California. He served in the Coast Guard from 1946 to 1948. He ran in underground male prostitution circuits, trading dignity for screen opportunities under manager Henry Wilson. He came out as gay late in 2005 in his autobiography, Tab Hunter Confidential, dying on July 8, 2018, from heart issues in Santa Barbara at age 86. His story is about resilience through Battle Cry in 1955 as Danny Forrester, The Burning Hills in 1956 with Natalie Wood, Gunman's Walk in 1958, They Came to Cordura in 1959 with Gary Cooper, Ride the Wild Surf in 1964, and Polyester in 1981 with Divine by John Waters. He had relationships with Anthony Perkins, Ronnie Robertson, and Alan Glazer, his 35-year partner. His legacy is as a teen idol, with the music hit Young Love in 1957 and the 2015 documentary Tab Hunter Confidential. Dirk Bogarde, British actor in The Night Porter in 1974, born on March 28, 1921 in London as Derek Jules Gaspar Ulrich Niven van den Bogarde. Dirk was the son of Ulrich van den Bogarde, an art editor, and Margaret Niven, an actress, growing up in Hampstead, studying at Allen Glen's School. He served in the British Army during World War II, witnessing Bergen-Belsen camp. He had rumors of male prostitution deals in London and Hollywood when at MGM in 1950. He died on May 8, 1999, from heart issues in London at age 78. His legacy is mystery through Victim in 1961, the first British film about homosexuality, as Melville Farr, Death in Venice in 1971 by Visconti, as Gustav von Aschenbach, The Servant in 1963 by Losey, as Hugo Barrett, Doctor in the House in 1954, Darling in 1965 with Julie Christie. He lived with Anthony Forwood for over 40 years. His manager, but hid it due to UK laws criminalizing homosexuality until 1967. He wrote 15 autobiographical books like A Postilion Struck by Lightning in 1907. Cary Grant, king of romantic comedy in North by Northwest in 1959. Born on January 18, 1904 in Bristol, England, as Archibald Leach. Cary was the son of Elias Leach, a tailor, and Elsie Kingdom, a mentally ill mother who locked him in closets from childhood. He joined the Pender Troupe Circus at 14, arriving in the U.S. in 1920. According to Bowers, he engaged in male prostitution with Randolph Scott. When signing with Paramount in 1932, he died on November 29, 1986, from a stroke in Davenport, Iowa, at age 82. His story is about secrets behind the smile through The Philadelphia Story in 1940, Oscar nomination as C.K. Dexter Haven, His Girl Friday in 1940 with Rosalind Russell, Arsenic and Old Lace in 1944, Notorious in 1946 with Ingrid Bergman, To Catch a Thief in 1955 with Grace Kelly, An Affair to Remember in 1957. He married 5 times: Virginia Cherrill, 1934 to 1935, Barbara Hutton, 1942 to 1945, Betsy Drake, 1949 to 1962, Diane Cannon, 1965 to 1968, daughter Jennifer, Barbara Harris, 1981 to 1986. His legacy is as a comedy icon with 72 films and philanthropy. Tyrone Power, Adventure in the Mark of Zorro in 1940. Born on May 5, 1914 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Tyrone was the son of Tyrone Power Sr., an actor, and Helen Emma Relme, growing up in an artistic family. Father dying early in 1931. He had rumors of male prostitution parties when signing with 20th Century Fox in 1936. Died on November 15, 1958, from heart issues while filming Solomon and Sheba in Madrid at age 44. His story is tragic through witness for the prosecution in 1957, as Leonard Vole, Jesse James in 1939, The Black Swan in 1942 with Maureen O'Hara, Captain from Castile in 1947, The Sun Also Rises in 1957. He served in the Marines during World War II. Flying missions in the Pacific. Married 3 times. Annabella, 1939 to 1948. Linda Christian, 1949 to 1956. 2 daughters, Romina and Taryn. Deborah Minard, 1958. Son Tyrone Power Jr. His legacy is as an action star, with an airport named after him in Guam. Errol Flynn, Robin Hood in 1938. Born on June 20, 1909 in Battery Point, Tasmania, Australia. Errol was the son of Theodore Flynn, a marine biologist, and Lily Mary Young, growing up adventurous, expelled from school in England. He was accused with female prostitutes, but rumors about males when arriving in Hollywood in 1935. Died on October 14, 1959 in Vancouver from heart issues, at age 50 after a debauched life. Through the Adventures of Robin Hood in 1938, as Robin, Captain Blood in 1935, the Seahawk in 1940. They died with their boots on in 1941 with Olivia de Havilland, The Private Lives of Elizabeth and Essex in 1939. Married 3 times, Lily Demita 1935 to 1942, son Sean missing in Cambodia. Nora Eddington 1943 to 1949, 2 daughters. Patrice Wymore, 1950 to 1959, daughter Arnella. His legacy is as an adventure hero, but with a 1942 rape scandal. Burt Lancaster, From Here to Eternity in 1953. Born on November 2, 1913 in Manhattan, New York. Burt was the son of James Henry Lancaster, a postal worker, and Elizabeth Roberts, growing up poor in East Harlem, performing circus acts with Nick Cravat. He had rumors of male prostitution trades when debuting on Broadway in 1945. Died on October 20, 1994 in Los Angeles from heart issues at age 80. Through Atlantic City in 1980, Oscar nomination, Elmer Gantry in 1960, Oscar as Elmer, The Killers in 1946, Sweet Smell of Success in 1957, Birdman of Alcatraz in 1962, married Norma Anderson, 1935 to 1969, 5 children, liberal political activist against McCarthyism. His legacy is as a versatile actor, founding Hecht Hill Lancaster Productions. Kirk Douglas, Spartacus in 1960, born on December 9, 1916 in Amsterdam, New York. As Ishur Danielovich, Kirk was the son of Herschel Danielovich, a Russian Jewish immigrant rag seller, and Brina Sanglal, raising 7 children in poverty. He had rumors of male prostitution deals while at St. Lawrence University. Died on February 5, 2020 in Beverly Hills, at age 103. Through Paths of Glory in 1957. Lust for Life in 1956, Oscar nomination as Van Gogh. Champion in 1949, Oscar nomination. The Bad and the Beautiful in 1952. Married Diana Dill, 1943 to 1951. 2 sons, Michael and Joel. Ann Biden's 1954 to 2020. 2 sons, Peter and Eric. Broke Hollywood's blacklist by crediting Dalton Trumbo for Spartacus. His legacy is as an icon with the 1981 Medal of Freedom. Paul Newman, Cool Hand Luke in 1967, born on January 26, 1925 in Shaker Heights, Ohio. Paul was the son of Arthur Newman, a sporting goods store owner, and Teresa Fetzer, growing up Jewish-Hungarian. He had rumors of young male prostitution while at Yale Drama School. Died on September 26, 2008 in Westport, Connecticut, from cancer at age 83. Through The Color of Money in 1986, Oscar as Fast Eddie, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in 1958, HUD in 1963, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 1969 with Robert Redford, The Sting in 1973, married Jackie Whitty 1949 to 1958, 3 children, Joanne Woodward 1958 to 2008, 3 children. Newman's own charity raised $500 million for children. His legacy is as a humanitarian actor with Hole in the Wall gang camp. Warren Beatty, Bonnie and Clyde in 1967, born on March 30, 1937 in Richmond, Virginia. Warren is Shirley MacLaine's brother, son of Ira Owens Beatty, a teacher, and Kathleen Corin MacLaine, famous for being a playboy, but rumors of early male prostitution when debuting in 1959, through Splendor in the Grass in 1961 with Natalie Wood, Reds in 1981, Oscar for directing as John Reed, Dick Tracy in 1990, Heaven Can Wait in 1978, Shampoo in 1975, married Annette Bening in 1992, 4 children, relationships with Joan Collins, Natalie Wood, Madonna, Diane Keaton. His legacy is as a producer with 14 Oscar nominations. Clark Gable, Gone with the Wind in 1939, born on February 1, 1901 in Cadiz, Ohio. Clark was the son of William Henry Gable, an oil driller, and Adeline Hershelman, who died early. He had rumors of male prostitution trades with Loretta Young while on stage. Died on November 16, 1960 in Los Angeles from heart issues, at age 59. Through It Happened One Night in 1934, Oscar as Peter Warren, Mutiny on the Bounty in 1935, San Francisco in 1936, The Misfits in 1961 with Marilyn Monroe. Married 5 times, Josephine Dillon 1924 to 1930, Maria Langham 1931 to 1939, Carol Lombard 1939 to 1942, died in plane crash. Sylvia Ashley 1949 to 1952, Kay Spreckles 1955 to 1960, son John Clark Gable. His legacy is as the King of Hollywood with WWII Medal. Humphrey Bogart, Casablanca in 1942, born on December 25, 1899 in New York. Humphrey was the son of Belmont DeForest Bogart, a doctor, and Maud Humphrey, an illustrator. He had rumors of New York male prostitution while on stage in 1921 died on January 14, 1957 in Hollywood from esophageal cancer at age 57. Through The African Queen in 1951, Oscar as Charlie Allnut, The Maltese Falcon in 1941, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre in 1948, The Big Sleep in 1946 with Lauren Bacall, married Helen Menken 1926 to 1927, Mary Phillips 1928 to 1937, Mayo Method 1938 to 1945, Lauren Bacall 1945 and 1957, 2 children, Stephen and Leslie. His legacy is as a noir icon with the Rat Pack. Gary Cooper, High Noon in 1952, born on May 7, 1901 in Helena, Montana. Gary was the son of Charles Henry Cooper, a judge, and Alice Brazier, growing up on a ranch. He had rumors of early Hollywood male prostitution as a stuntman in 1925, died on May 13, 1961 in Los Angeles from cancer at age 60. Through Sergeant York in 1941, Oscar as Alvin York, Mr. Deeds Goes to Town in 1936, Oscar, the Pride of the Yankees in 1942, as Lou Gehrig, For Whom the Bell Tolls in 1943 with Ingrid Bergman, married Veronica Balfe 1933 to 1961, daughter Maria. His legacy is as an American hero with 2 Oscars. In conclusion, dear viewers, these stories are not for judgment, but to inspire about human strength overcoming darkness. They shone despite sacrifices from tough early days to great legacies. Thank you for listening, and please share your thoughts on these icons. We have explored together an emotional and mysterious part of Hollywood history, and I hope you find value in it.